Your mind is not just a part of you, it is you. Everything you see, feel, and experience in this world is filtered through it. If your mind is strong, life's challenges appear as lessons. If it's weak, even small inconveniences feel like disasters. That's why the first step toward winning your life is learning to master your inner world. The mind is like a sword. Left untrained, it becomes dull, heavy, and dangerous to yourself. But once sharpened through focus, patience, and awareness, it becomes the greatest weapon you will ever possess. You cannot control everything happening outside of you, but you can control the power inside you. When your inner world is stable, no outer storm can destroy you. Every success story begins in the unseen battlefield of the mind. Before any achievement happens in reality, it must first happen in thought. Champions, leaders, and visionaries don't just act differently. They think differently. Their victories are born from mental discipline. They've trained themselves to see opportunity where others see obstacles, to stay calm when others panic, to persevere when others quit. This mindset doesn't appear overnight. It's built through daily repetition. The mind learns through what you feed it. Feed it doubt, and it will create excuses. Feed it courage, and it will create breakthroughs. Training your mind means becoming the guardian of your thoughts. You must be aware of what enters, what stays, and what grows. Most people live reactively. They allow random emotions, opinions, and fears to shape their behavior. A trained mind lives intentionally. It chooses what to focus on and what to ignore. Every time you resist reacting out of emotion, you are teaching your mind obedience. Every time you replace negative self-talk with empowering thoughts, you are reprogramming your inner dialogue. This is the essence of mental mastery. Silence and solitude are not signs of weakness. They are exercises for the mind. When you sit in stillness and observe your thoughts without judgment, you begin to see the patterns that control you. You learn how often your mind wanders to the past or worries about the future. Through awareness, you reclaim your power. Meditation, deep breathing, and journaling are not spiritual luxuries. They are training techniques. Just like the body needs workouts to grow stronger, your mind needs consistent inner discipline to stay sharp and clear. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against other people or circumstances. It's against the distractions, fears, and doubts inside your own head. To train your mind is to stand guard at the door of your consciousness and decide what gets to enter. It is to focus when the world screams for your attention, to stay calm when chaos surrounds you, to act with clarity when others freeze in confusion. When you master your mind, every external challenge becomes manageable. Life doesn't get easier, you just become stronger. The mind, once trained, becomes your loyal servant, not your silent enemy. And when that happens, your true power begins to unfold. Discipline is the invisible bridge between your dreams and your reality. It is the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Most people rely on motivation to take action. But motivation is unreliable, fleeting, and emotional. It comes in bursts and disappears without warning. One day you're full of energy, ready to conquer the world, and the next day you can't even get out of bed. That's why winners don't depend on motivation. They depend on discipline. Discipline is consistent. It doesn't care about moods, weather, or convenience. It's a commitment to yourself that says, I will show up no matter how I feel. Training your mind to win your life begins with mastering this discipline. It's not glamorous or exciting. It's about repetition, routine, and responsibility. Every time you follow through on your promises, you strengthen your mental muscle. Each small act of discipline builds a foundation of trust between you and your own mind. Over time, that trust becomes power, the kind that no one can take away. You start to realize that you don't need to wait to feel ready. You become the kind of person who acts, and then the feeling follows. Action breeds motivation, not the other way around. When you rely on motivation, your progress will always be unstable. You'll do well when life feels easy and quit when it feels heavy. But when you rely on discipline, you become unstoppable. Discipline doesn't ask for comfort, it demands commitment. It tells you to wake up early even when you're tired, to keep learning when you're discouraged, to keep going when no one believes in you. It's the quiet strength that separates dreamers from achievers. The more you practice discipline, the more resilient your mind becomes. You stop negotiating with your weaknesses, and instead, you start commanding your will. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's about alignment. It aligns your actions with your goals. When you decide what matters most to you, discipline becomes the daily reminder of that decision. It helps you say no to distractions, temptations, and shortcuts. It teaches you patience, the art of working in silence and letting results speak later. It trains your mind to focus on process over outcome. Because real success isn't about one grand moment, it's about thousands of small, unseen efforts done consistently. The truth is, discipline liberates you. It gives you control over your time, your energy, and your destiny. People who lack discipline are slaves to their emotions. They start and stop, chase comfort, and wonder why life doesn't change. But those who master discipline command their future. Each discipline choice is a step toward mental mastery. The simple act of doing what's right, even when it's hard, transforms your entire mindset. Slowly, your brain rewires itself to obey your higher purpose instead of temporary impulses. That is how the mind evolves, from chaos to clarity, from hesitation to power. When discipline becomes your lifestyle, success becomes your habit. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. Every action you take, every decision you make begins as a thought. Yet most people allow their minds to run on autopilot, repeating the same negative patterns that hold them back. To train your mind and win your life, you must first reprogram the inner dialogue that has been limiting your potential for years. The mind is like software. It executes whatever code you install. If that code is filled with fear, doubt, and limitation, your life will reflect that programming. But if you rewrite it with confidence, purpose, and resilience, you transform the entire operating system of your reality. Negative thinking often begins unconsciously. It's the quiet voice that says, "You're not good enough," or "You'll fail again." These thoughts are not truths, they are habits. They were built through repetition, experiences, and influences from your past. The good news is, anything learned can be unlearned. You have the power to rewrite the script playing inside your mind. It starts with awareness. You must become the observer of your thoughts instead of the victim of them. Notice the moments when your inner dialogue becomes critical or fearful. Catch the thought before it gains power. Awareness weakens its control. The next step is replacement. The human brain cannot focus on two thoughts simultaneously. When you replace a negative with a positive, the negative loses energy. For example, instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I'm learning how to do this." This subtle shift trains your subconscious mind to see challenges as opportunities rather than threats. Affirmations are not about pretending everything is perfect. They are about programming your mind to respond with strength instead of fear. The more you repeat empowering thoughts, the stronger they become. Consistency is key. Just as the body grows through daily exercise, the mind grows through daily affirmation. Visualization is another powerful tool. When you vividly imagine success, when you see, hear, and feel it in your mind, you are planting seeds in the subconscious. The brain doesn't distinguish between imagined experience and real one. It records both as memory. So, when you visualize yourself succeeding, your mind becomes familiar with that version of you. Over time, your actions start aligning with that image, and what was once imaginary becomes reality. Combine this with gratitude, and you create an unstoppable mindset. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. It teaches your mind to see blessings, not problems, to focus on progress, not perfection. Reprogramming your mind is a lifelong journey, not a one-time act. The negative patterns you've carried for years won't vanish overnight. But every day you challenge a limiting thought, you weaken its hold. Every day you choose courage over fear, you reshape your identity. Eventually, your subconscious becomes your ally, not your enemy. Your thoughts begin to align with your goals, your beliefs align with your potential, and your reality transforms to reflect your new inner state. When your mind becomes your friend, not your critic, you no longer chase success. You attract it naturally. One of the greatest signs of a trained mind is emotional control. The ability to remain calm, centered, and composed no matter what happens around you. Life will never stop testing you. People will disappoint you, situations will frustrate you, and challenges will appear when you least expect them. But you must understand this truth. You cannot control what happens to you, yet you can always control how you respond. This single realization separates those who suffer from those who grow. The difference between chaos and clarity lies in your reaction, not in your environment. Most people waste their mental energy trying to control the uncontrollable. They try to change other people, force outcomes, and resist life's flow. When things don't go their way, they react with anger, fear, or self-pity. This reaction drains energy, blinds reason, and clouds judgment. But when you train your mind, you stop fighting the world. You start mastering yourself. You learn to pause before responding, to breathe before reacting, to observe before judging. That pause is your power. It gives you space to choose wisdom over emotion, patience over impulsiveness. In that moment, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. The mind, when left untrained, becomes easily triggered. It sees every obstacle as an attack, every delay as a disaster. But through awareness and discipline, you learn that not everything deserves a reaction. Silence, at times, is the loudest response. Calmness in chaos is the greatest strength. When you refuse to be shaken by external noise, you shift your energy inward toward focus, peace, and clarity. You realize that emotional reactions are often a reflection of the inner chaos you haven't healed. Training your mind means observing that chaos without becoming it. To control your reactions, practice mindfulness in everyday life. Pay attention to how you feel in traffic, in arguments, or when plans fail. Instead of immediately reacting, take a slow breath and ask yourself, is this worth my peace? 90% of the time, it isn't. The more you practice this awareness, the stronger your inner control becomes. Slowly, your mind stops being a slave to emotions. It becomes the master of them. This doesn't mean you suppress feelings, it means you guide them. You let anger become assertiveness, fear become focus, and pain become perspective. The world around you is unpredictable. You cannot stop storms from coming, but you can learn to remain calm within them. Inner stability comes from trust in yourself, in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. The moment you stop reacting to everything, you begin to see clearly. You start responding with intelligence, not impulse, and that shift changes everything. Life doesn't get easier, but you become stronger, wiser, and far more peaceful. The more you train your mind to master reactions, the less power the outside world has over your inner world. Control your inner weather, and no external storm can destroy your calm. What you feed your mind determines the quality of your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. Just as your body becomes weak when you consume junk food, your mind becomes dull, anxious, and unmotivated when you feed it mental junk. Every word you hear, every image you watch, every conversation you engage in, these are forms of mental nutrition. If you constantly consume negativity, gossip, or fear-driven content, your thoughts will reflect that toxicity. You will start to think small, doubt yourself, and see life through the lens of limitation. But if you feed your mind with knowledge, inspiration, and truth, it grows sharper, calmer, and more powerful. You become stronger not just emotionally, but spiritually and intellectually. Training your mind begins with guarding your attention. Your attention is your most valuable resource. It shapes your beliefs, behaviors, and destiny. Yet most people give it away carelessly to distractions, social media, and meaningless entertainment. They scroll endlessly, consuming information that adds no value to their growth. The mind, like the body, becomes what it repeatedly consumes. If you feed it noise, it becomes restless. If you feed it silence, it becomes focused. The quality of your mental diet decides whether your mind works for you or against you. That's why winners are deliberate about what they consume. They treat their attention like gold. Feeding your mind properly means surrounding yourself with wisdom and growth. Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to mentors who have walked the path you wish to take. Engage in conversations that elevate your spirit, not drain your energy. Instead of consuming random information, choose intentional learning. Ask yourself before you read, watch, or listen to something, will this make me stronger, wiser, or more peaceful? If the answer is no, walk away. Protecting your mental environment is not arrogance, it's discipline. It's understanding that not everything deserves space in your mind. Just as your body needs rest after nourishment, your mind needs silence after stimulation. Too much information, even positive, can clutter your focus. Take moments each day to disconnect from the external world and reconnect with your inner one. Meditate, reflect, or simply breathe deeply in stillness. In silence, the mind digests what it has learned and transforms it into understanding. The balance between input and stillness creates clarity and insight. What you repeatedly expose yourself to becomes your inner voice. Over time, you start thinking in the same tone as the messages you absorb. That's why consuming high-energy, empowering content is vital. It programs your subconscious mind to expect greatness instead of mediocrity. Feeding your mind is not just about learning, it's about transforming. It's about replacing confusion with clarity, weakness with strength, and doubt with confidence. The more you consciously choose what to let into your mental space, the more peace and focus you'll experience. Remember, your outer world will always mirror your inner world. If your mind is nourished with wisdom, your life will flourish with purpose. Pain is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher, your most honest guide, and the silent force that shapes your growth. Every human being experiences pain, but not everyone learns from it. Most people run from discomfort, suppress emotions, and avoid challenges. But the truth is, the very pain you resist holds the lesson you need to evolve. When you begin to see pain not as punishment but as preparation, your entire mindset transforms. Pain sharpens awareness, deepens wisdom, and builds strength in places where comfort could never reach. The mind that learns to face pain becomes unshakable. In life, comfort makes you soft, but struggle makes you solid. You cannot build mental muscles without resistance. Just like a physical workout, growth happens when the mind is stretched beyond its limits. Every failure, heartbreak, and rejection is a training ground for your mental resilience. Instead of asking why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? That simple shift changes victimhood into empowerment. You begin to see patterns. You realize that every setback was shaping your character, every delay was building your patience, every disappointment was preparing you for a greater purpose. A trained mind doesn't avoid pain, it studies it, it asks questions, it listens. Because hidden within pain is clarity, the kind that only discomfort can reveal. Pain exposes your weaknesses, your fears, and your illusions. It forces you to confront truths you would otherwise ignore. The mind expands when it endures hardship with awareness. The stronger your relationship with pain, the more peaceful your relationship with life becomes. You start to trust that every experience, no matter how difficult, serves your evolution. Embracing pain doesn't mean enjoying it. It means understanding it. It's about staying present in discomfort instead of escaping into distractions. When you feel emotional or mental pain, pause and observe it. Notice where it comes from, what it's teaching you, and how it's changing you. This awareness transforms suffering into growth. Most people let pain close their hearts. The wise allow it to open theirs. Pain deepens empathy. It teaches you how to connect, forgive, and appreciate life's smallest moments. To train your mind through pain, you must develop patience and faith. Patience helps you endure the storm. Faith helps you believe that the storm has a reason. Every time you endure pain with awareness, you are building mental endurance. You are teaching your mind that it can survive difficulty and rise stronger. Over time, fear loses its power because you faced it before and walked through it. You realize that pain doesn't break you. It refines you. The fire that once burned you now forges you. When you stop fearing pain, you begin to live freely. You stop playing small to avoid discomfort and start embracing challenges that lead to growth. Pain gives birth to transformation. It teaches humility, focus, and gratitude. Every scar becomes a symbol of wisdom earned. The mind that understands pain no longer sees it as suffering. It sees it as strength in disguise. A disciplined mind without direction is like a powerful engine without a driver. It may have strength, but no destination. To truly win your life, you must align your mind with purpose. Purpose is what gives meaning to your effort, direction to your energy, and depth to your existence. It is the why behind every action. When your mind is aligned with a clear purpose, distractions lose power. Fear loses control, and confusion fades away. You no longer wake up wondering what to do. You wake up knowing why you're doing it. Purpose gives your thoughts and actions coherence, turning chaos into clarity. Many people live without purpose, drifting through life reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. Their minds are busy but not focused. They work hard but feel empty because their effort lacks direction. A trained mind, however, operates with intention. It doesn't chase everything that shines. It chooses what truly matters. Purpose acts as a compass that keeps you centered even when life's winds change direction. It keeps your thoughts aligned with your values and your actions aligned with your vision. When you know your purpose, you no longer waste time comparing your path with others. You realize your journey is your own, and every experience, good or bad, contributes to it. Aligning your mind with purpose begins with reflection. Ask yourself questions that cut through the noise. What am I here to do? What brings me peace? What impact do I want to leave behind? These questions awaken self-awareness, and self-awareness is the foundation of a purposeful life. Once you discover your why, let it guide everything you do. When your mind has a reason, discipline becomes natural. You don't need to force yourself to stay consistent. The power of purpose pulls you forward. It transforms effort into devotion and work into worship. Purpose also acts as an emotional anchor. When failure comes, it reminds you why you started. When doubt whispers, it strengthens your resolve. When success tempts you with comfort, it keeps you humble and grounded. The mind aligned with purpose doesn't depend on external validation. It doesn't need applause or approval because its fulfillment comes from living in harmony with its truth. The more aligned you are, the less lost you feel. You stop asking for signs because your purpose is the sign. You no longer chase happiness. You create it by living meaningfully. Your purpose doesn't have to be grand or glamorous. It just needs to be authentic. It might be to help others, to create beauty, to teach, to lead, or simply to grow. Whatever it is, let it infuse your thoughts, words, and actions with intention. Because when your mind and purpose move together, you enter a state of flow, where peace, focus, and power coexist. Life stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like a calling. That alignment is what transforms existence into excellence. Your mind is your greatest power. Train it with focus, discipline, and purpose. When thoughts obey vision, emotions serve wisdom, and pain fuels growth, victory becomes your natural state. The moment you master your inner world, the outer world aligns with it. Win your mind, and you will win your life.